But today we want to gather and to take this time to really honor an individual who is a champion of diversity. The Diversity Business Network is today pleased to recognize Police Chief William Blair as our 2012 Canadian Diversity Leadership Award winner. The essence of the award is to recognize an individual or an organization who is a champion for diversity. But more importantly, they've also achieved success in the strategies and their final goals for their organizations. As one of the most multicultural cities in the world, Chief Blair has built an organization reflective of the city's motto, diversity our strength. His accomplishments and success in making diversity a core cornerstone is a beacon for other core Canadian organizations in both the public and the private sector. He has created a very high benchmark when you look at the statistics and his accomplishments over the years. The service and commitment infused within the Toronto Police Services, its cultural diversity, and its representation of diversity is a reflection of his dream and his vision for the city, to really create a police force that is not only dealing with the challenges of today, but also be able to deal with the challenges and goals for tomorrow.
Look, I just want to say I'm hugely humbled to be here amongst you all. You're doing some great work, and of course, in honour of Chief Bill Blair. I am slightly intimidated when I met him because he's twice my height. But I guess I'm more in awe of what he's achieved, and I think the achievements speak for themselves. But for me, I mean, I work a lot with the police in the UK as well, and I think just to say that what is particularly gratifying and humbling is for somebody in that position to get it, to understand it. And I think that understanding and that leadership are the pivotal things which really make a difference. So I won't say more than that, other than to say it's a tremendous honour, Chief Bill Blair, to present you with this award.
First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Frost. I am quite honored that I received this reward from your hand. We are both people that face enormous challenges, and I admire the task that you face and the support that I'm sure you'll receive in doing it. I also want to take the opportunity, there's so many distinguished guests here today, and I will be remiss if I start acknowledging all of them, but I certainly want to extend my most sincere gratitude to Courtney Betty for the nomination of this award and for the acknowledgement, but also for his ongoing partnership and friendship, the good advice he gives me. And not only the good advice, Courtney's not a man afraid to tell you when he thinks you could do it better. And I'm grateful for that. I truly am. I also wanted to acknowledge Mr. Michael Thompson, who is City Councillor and a member of the Toronto Police Services Board. And I think I'd like to begin by expressing my very sincere gratitude, but to also tell you that I feel like a little bit of a fraud up here, because it's my name on that award. And quite frankly, it's an award that acknowledges the work of many, many people within my own organization, real leaders, courageous pioneers who persevered through many, many challenges, and also the countless partners that we have in the City of Toronto. Because none of the things that have been accomplished within our service and for our city could possibly have been accomplished without that commitment and the dedication that so many partners have brought to our relationship, and the work that we are trying to do to make Toronto a safe and livable place for everyone who lives here, a place where people can live in dignity and respect and peace and in harmony. And I am so grateful for all of the support that I have received, and I want to talk to you a little bit about some of that work, because I think there are heroes that need to be acknowledged whose names have not been put forward today, but I wanted to speak that. And I also want to acknowledge my fellow proud Scarboroughite. And you know, growing up in Scarborough, growing up in a diverse community, and my wife and I raised our family in Malvern, which is a very diverse community in Toronto, and proud to come from that community. And I want every young person that lives in that community to be proud of where they live and the school that they go to, and to be successful and to realize their full opportunities. When I joined the Toronto Police Service 35 years ago, the organization I joined was comprised of people who look just like me, tall, white men. It was an organization of people who shared a almost singular perspective of the world. We'd grown up in the same communities, we had listened to the same music, we shared the same culture, we spoke the same language, we practiced the same faith. And so we were a police service that at the time perhaps represented its community, but that community was to change, and change so significantly, and to become the remarkable and great diverse city of Toronto. Toronto is, as you all know, everyone in the room is aware, one of the most diverse cities anywhere, where people have come not from any one place, but from every place. They have come knowing every culture, practicing every faith tradition, speaking every language, and they have come here for the opportunity to live in peace and prosperity and safety and respect. That is the city of Toronto. And so when I was tasked with the responsibility for policing such a great and diverse city, it became apparently to me that we needed to have a police service that reflected that community, a police service that spoke the languages, who knew the faith traditions, who understood and had the cultural competencies of the communities that we were sworn to serve and protect. And I had some help in this. And I remember when I first became the chief of police, I had a lifelong friend who I'd worked side by side with for decades by the name of Keith Ford. Many of you know him. And I called Keith in and I said, Keith, I want you to apply to be the deputy chief. And I'm going to put you in charge of transforming our organization. I'm going to ask you, because Keith understood his community, he understood the city of Toronto, and he understood the police service, ask you to help us make the changes. And Keith says to me on that day, he says, you're putting me in charge of the thing I've been complaining about for 30 years. One of the smartest things I've ever done. Because Keith came in, and I asked him to put together a team and to look at how we could make the Toronto Police Service a diverse organization. And not, I have to tell you, simply because it was morally the right thing to do. I believed it was a smart thing to do. It was good business practice. It was going to make us more competent and smarter and better able to serve the communities that we were sworn to serve and protect. And so we set about creating a diverse workforce. The first thing we undertook to do was to hire a diverse workforce. And what we found is that quite often members of minority communities and women were not applying in the same numbers. We had, quite frankly, white male applicants down the street and around the corner. No shortage of qualified white male applicants. What we needed to do was to go out and actively recruit in communities, to let people know that they were welcome in our business and that we needed them in our organization to attract the very best of all of our diverse communities. And we put a great emphasis on language skills and cultural competencies and what we refer to as a diversity of perspectives. And I have to go back to why this has been important in making us better at what we do. We police a diverse city. We police a city with people from all over the world. And I want them to see themselves reflected in our organization. And because we share the perspectives of those diverse communities, we have people that have grown up in other cultures. We have people that have grown up in poverty. We have people that have grown up in communities that are suffering from discrimination and lack of opportunity. And because they bring those perspectives into our organization, it makes us more competent. It makes us smarter. And now we have created a diversity of perspectives within the police service. And it empowers us when we go out into communities and we're trying to connect with people. You know, we've talked a little bit about some of the successes achieved in Toronto. One of the great successes, one of the things that I think we have every right to celebrate, is the relative safety of our city. You know, we have the lowest crime severity index of any city in North America. This is a proud accomplishment. Considering our remarkable diversity, considering some of the disparities that exist within our community, we have achieved remarkable success in making this a safe and inclusive community. I will also say that and acknowledge there's still a great deal of work to do. But that in part has been possible because we have recognized in Toronto and in Canada that inclusion and engagement with our communities is really the secret to making safe and livable communities. And it's also the secret of economic success in our communities. And so I want to tell you today, because it's rather appropriate, to speak to this community about the business benefits of creating a diverse workforce and a diverse perspective within your organizations. We serve and live in one of the most remarkably diverse cultures anywhere. And by having people in our organization who recognize and respect that diversity and who are culturally competent in all of the communities that we serve, They not only understand those communities, but they come from those communities. They're known there. They're trusted there. They can help us be known and trusted there, and that's critically important to the success of any police mission. But also they help us serve that community better, to understand what the community needs and expects from us in order to be successful. We have been able to work not only on reducing crime, but creating opportunity. And that is not traditionally seen as the role of the police. But I believe that we have a role not only in enforcing the law, in issuing tickets, arresting bad guys, and seizing guns and drugs, but we have an equal responsibility for social justice, not only as a police service, but as a society. And I believe that a police service that is diverse, that is culturally competent, that is able to serve such a diverse city can make a real contribution to making Toronto a more socially just place for everybody. And that's a commitment that I know everybody in this room shares. And I want to tell you, it's a commitment that the overwhelming majority of people in our city share. We want to make this a safe place for everyone, but we also want to make it a place where every young person can realize their full potential, where they can be proud of the neighborhood they live in and the school that they go to, and that they know that there are people who work for them, that are here to keep them safe, to work with them and to respect them, to help them succeed. And it's only with that relationship of trust and respect that we can hope to continue to make Toronto a safe and livable place for everyone. So let me tell you that I am very grateful for the acknowledgement today that I have received. But this is an acknowledgement that has been earned by very many people. And you know, in my organization, I remember the big white organization I joined years ago. There were some remarkably courageous pioneers who came from minority communities, black officers who came into organizations where they were not treated respectfully, and they struggled and they persevered, and they paved a way for others who followed. I am grateful for their example and for their courage, and it needs to be acknowledged. And I am also eternally grateful for the tremendous support that we have received from countless community partners who have made what little success we have achieved possible. And I want to tell you all today that I and the Toronto Police Service and all of the people in my organization remain committed to continuing to work with all of the diverse people of the city. We've made progress. We have work to do. We are committed to continuing to do that work and to continue to build those relationships and those partnerships that will make Toronto a safe and livable place in which will guarantee the future of all of the young people to whom we are counting on to continue to make Toronto a great city. Thank you very much.